Hunting Trip is the 10th episode of the second season of Parks and Rec. This is directed by Greg Daniels, and as always, there will be spoilers from now as I go through the episode and share some thoughts. Honestly, I didn't really care for the episode. There was only really one thing about it that I liked, and that's the kind of mystery element of why Leslie was covering for something. I'll talk about that when we get there. But the rest of it, I didn't really care for. But I did love the orange. I've never seen an orange so bright before. It starts off with Leslie saying that she wants to go on Ron's annual hunting trip. It's a secret hunting trip, but it's not really a secret. And he points out that technically it's a work event, so he can't actually stop her. And Leslie goes, and Anne goes, and basically everybody's there. Although April is actually manning things in the office, and Andy is there, and I don't really have a lot of thoughts about their scenes. The whole Hickey thing was a little bit strange. Honestly, I didn't care for it. It was a nice way to break up the main narrative, but I didn't find it that interesting. And honestly, not much else happens. We have the characters wearing very bright orange. It does look brilliant. And somebody accidentally shoots Ron in the back of the head. And I'll be honest, I thought it was Leslie. Because Leslie was acting a little bit suspicious, but she didn't admit to it. So it seemed like it was definitely Leslie, and nobody wants to admit this. It also makes perfect sense why Anne was there on this company trip, because then she was able to use her nursing skills to help Ron. So it made sense why they brought the character in for this trip. And Anne actually knew the truth. She saw who shot Ron, and I was genuinely surprised. This is the bit that I liked, the only bit of the episode I cared for, but she asked Leslie, why are you covering? Why are you pretending it was you, or why are you going to take the blame for this? And we do have a couple of minutes until we find out the truth. And Anne confronts Tom, and I like how she handled him. I liked how she handled the situation. And we find out it was Tom who shot Ron. And the reason he didn't confess, and the reason Leslie didn't tell, was because Tom doesn't have a hunting license. So what he was doing was illegal, and Leslie covered for him, and it was a nice thing for her to do. And Ron obviously finds out about this, and Ron tells Leslie, "You're a real stand-up guy," which honestly is exactly what Leslie wanted to hear. So I guess all's well that ends well. And then the episode ends with Ron back at work with the back of his head shaved with a lot of red marks. Not the most pleasant thing to look at, but it wasn't a bad ending. The episode as a whole, though, just felt very dull. I don't think a lot happened. I don't think it was that interesting. Yes, the mystery of why Leslie was covering for Tom, or, who she was covering for initially, that I did like. And I did like Anne in this. But other than that, there's not a lot to it. And even recounting the specifics of the narrative, I don't really believe, obviously I know for a fact, but it feels hard to believe that that was the entirety of the episode. Because really not a lot happened. How did they manage to fill a full episode with so little action? And in my opinion, not really a lot of comedy either. So I didn't love it. I loved the bright orange. I loved the little bit of a mystery. But aside from that, I didn't think Hunting Trip was that great. Yes, obviously Leslie wanting to be treated as one of the guys, that's a relatively interesting topic. I think they did a good job of handling that, but not interesting enough to be entertaining. It's not terrible, it was watchable, but honestly, aside from the bright orange is one of my favourite colours. It really drew me in. But aside from that, and the teeny tiny mystery, I didn't really think Hunting Trip had that much to offer.